My name's Dr. Manoj Krishna. I used to be a spine surgeon. About 5 years ago, I was moved by the suffering of children in the world and decided to leave medicine and set up the Human Wisdom Project. Our aim is to help every adult and every child connect with their own wisdom and live their best life and create a better future for humanity. It's a real privilege for me to be able to speak with you today. I believe teaching is the most noble profession in the world because the future of humanity is in your hands. In the next 30 minutes, I'm going to talk to you about teaching wisdom to children. This wisdom comes from a deeper understanding of ourselves and how our minds work, and is not based on any ideology or religion. It can, however, be completely life-changing. I've written a couple of books on the subject, as you can see, and all my contact information is on the screen. I'm going to share my experience of exploring wisdom with young people of all ages for the last 5 years, talk about the benefits of doing so, how you can do that, and end by sharing some videos of my conversations with children. You're going to be amazed at their innate wisdom. My passion is to bring this wisdom and self-understanding into mainstream education because I believe it has the potential to transform children's lives, help teachers, and make the world a better place. It's not based on any authority or belief system, but just on looking and learning about yourself. Let me begin, though, with a question. What do you think is the purpose of education in the 21st century, and does it need a rethink? You see, all the knowledge we teach children is quickly forgotten and is on their phones anyway. We judge children as successful or as failures based on their ability to memorize and repeat information, but rarely use that skill as adults ourselves. We even write shopping lists down when we go to the supermarket. Traditionally, education was about helping you get a good job, but that is also changing. Employers now are looking for soft skills, and more than 80% say they're missing in the graduates they're seeing. They want communication skills, resilience, relationship skills, positive attitude, critical thinking, problem solving, emotional intelligence, and so on. How are we preparing children also to meet the many challenges they will face? Education perhaps needs to modernize and move with the times, and we need to teach children not just the core subjects, but also the soft skills they need to be successful in the world. These are a natural byproduct of this deeper self-understanding and wisdom. Perhaps we also need to educate them to not just pursue their own success, but also care for humanity as a whole, because our future depends on it. Now, here's my second question. Why do you think we're educated only to understand the world around us, but not ourselves? And what are the implications of that? We know how to send a man to the moon, but not deal with our own stress and anxiety, for example. Why is that? Look at this list of problems for which at the moment there's no easy answer. 1 in 5 teenagers has a mental health problem. 1 in 5 reports being bullied, and the same number are obese. They also suffer from pressures from social media and peer pressure. As adults, stress affects 80% of us, anxiety 40%, relationship breakdown is around 50%, obesity rates are 42%, and addiction is between 10 and 20% depending on the stats you read. Surely this needs us to wake up and realize, what are we doing in education? You know, we think all these problems are separate, but they have one thing in common. They all begin in our thinking. It follows that if we could understand ourselves and how our minds work and share this with children, we could prevent these problems from occurring and overcome them more easily. This deeper self-understanding illuminates our own thinking, helps us understand why we think and act in the way that we do, and this brings a natural transformation. With this deeper understanding of ourselves, which we can call wisdom, or call it what you like, it doesn't matter, we can be happier, less stressed and anxious, be mentally healthy, have relationships without conflict, avoid the perils of addiction, make better decisions, and live in peace with ourselves and others. By understanding ourselves, we can understand others better and realize that deep down we're all the same human being. This leads to compassion. Every parent I've spoken to wants this for their children, and every child I've spoken to wants this for themselves. I did a live poll of students in a secondary school, and when I asked them what they wanted from their life, they said they wanted to be happy above all. But this happiness is not taught anywhere in education. I then asked them how many of them suffered from stress. These results are alarming, but not surprising. 72% said they were moderately or severely stressed. But then I asked them if this stress was impacting their ability to learn, and 80% of them said it did. So 80% of your students are not able to absorb the information you're giving them because they're stressed. But I went one step further. At a teachers' conference like this, I asked teachers how stressed they felt, and 58% said they were moderately or severely stressed. And then I asked them the same question. Does your stress or anxiety affect your teaching? And almost half of them said, yes, it did. So we need to find a fresh way of dealing with this stress, and living with wisdom can help us prevent it and overcome it more easily. Perhaps we need to broaden the definition of success to mean not just wealth, fame, and a good job, but also to be an excellent human being who's happy, who's at peace with themselves and with others, and does something to help humanity as a whole. Let me introduce you to the Human Wisdom app. It's free to download and browse, and it's also on the web at humanwisdom.me. It has a number of resources to help you learn about yourself, connect with your own inner wisdom, and transform your own life. You can then share this wisdom with children. Let's begin here with how wisdom can help. And I want to show you a video, a 1-minute video on how it contributes to stress management.
Imagine how your life could change if you could be less stressed. How can wisdom, which comes from understanding ourselves, help? If we're sitting an exam, our mind assumes that the exam is causing our stress. Or if we're stuck in a traffic jam, we assume it's the traffic jam that's making us stressed. If we use our wisdom, we can see that stress is just an automatic reaction from our thinking to an external event, because not everyone is stressed and not to the same degree. It is a difference between how things are and how we want them to be. We seem to have no control over that reaction. To be free of stress, we can either change the event or change our reaction to it. Often we cannot change the event or another person, but we can change how we react. To do that, we need to understand why our mind reacts in the way that it does. That journey of understanding ourselves opens a door to wisdom, which can help us avoid and overcome stress. You can discover this wisdom for yourself because it's already there inside you, and it can be life-changing. Stress affects up to 80% of us and impacts our health and our happiness, so you are not alone. Living with wisdom can bring lasting freedom. Now, wouldn't that be amazing?
So this approach is not just about after the event, it's also preventative, and it helps us find lasting solutions to our problems. So that's the section introducing wisdom. There's a daily practice because wisdom is a skill. So there's a breathing exercise, a question of the day. There's an online journal here, and everything that you write is stored confidentially in your own online journal. There's an inspirational quote of the day. This one's about anger, an audio meditation, and then a challenge, a daily challenge. Today, it's asking yourself, can you be more kind? Now, we've organized our content into 8 sections. And for example, let's have a look at the one on stress and anxiety. So you'll see the range of content that's available here. So at the top, there are 10-minute videos. So if you're stressed or anxious right now, for example, the stress video will offer you 14 things you can do right now to get over your stress. Hi, in this short film, we're going to explore 14 things you can do right now to deal with the acute stress you're feeling. Then you can go deeper to explore modules on breathing, stress, fear and anxiety, conditioning, and the reactive mind. And these then help you get to the root cause of why our mind reacts in the way that it does. And it puts you in charge of your own reaction. It doesn't mean that the problem doesn't need to be addressed, but you do it with a mind that's really calm. We have a number of life stories where this wisdom was used to deal with stress, guided questions, which is like a coach in your pocket, short videos, longer podcasts. We have a library of global events we host every few weeks. For example, there's a talk on stress in education or overcoming anxiety using wisdom, and a number of guided meditations. So like that, you can explore other topics like wisdom for the workplace, for example, where there are modules on work, leadership, communication, success and failure, relationships, bullying, and how to make better decisions. Now, there's a set of wisdom exercises which help you grow in your own self-awareness and then apply this awareness to deal with all the challenges you face. There's a section on developing a calm mind. But because we're dealing with a deeper understanding of our own thinking, we can then apply this newfound wisdom to almost every area of our life. And there are 18 topics here on how we can live with wisdom, including addiction, self-esteem, communication, leadership, love, living with peace, making better decisions, and dealing with criticism. There's a section on managing your emotions, including anger. And the key understanding here is that anger is a reaction from our thinking to what's happening in the world, but our mind assumes anger comes from the outside. We then explore how our mind works, because this is the foundation of the Human Wisdom program. For example, we're all conditioned, but we're not aware of it. And every opinion and belief and aspiration we have for our life comes from our unconscious conditioning. So conditioning isn't wrong, but understanding it allows us to live with wisdom. So now when I ask young people, I said, do you want your unconscious past influences to run your life? Or do you want to be in charge of your own life? They all say, no, I want to be in charge. And if you do, then you need to understand your various conditioning influences. Similarly, our mind compares all the time, but we're not aware of it. And this is behind our feelings of envy, low self-esteem, anger towards others who have more, and a lack of peace in ourselves. So this module on comparison is quite detailed and explores, for example, how we can respond with wisdom to comparison. And I'm going to show you some videos of my conversations with children on this subject. And you can see how we can awaken this wisdom in somebody else. Similarly, our mind is reactive, but we're not aware of it, or we have many emotional needs that we need other people to meet. None of all this is wrong, but it operates behind the scenes, and we're not usually aware of this going on. So just shining a light and being aware of what's happening allows us then to respond with wisdom to the challenges that we face. The last section explores how you can understand yourself without judgment, ask questions, look without language, and so on. As I said, our passion is to help make the world a better place. So the last section here explores how we can take this deeper understanding of ourselves and apply it to tackle racism, climate change, global health problems, and conflict, and transform education. How are we going to teach this wisdom to children? You know, the root word of education, educere, is to draw out, not to put in. So you cannot teach something that you do not understand yourself, which is why the Human Wisdom app is your resource to help you understand yourself and connect with your own wisdom. We're also developing an app for teenagers, children under 11, and parents, so it can be a lifelong journey for someone, all the way from childhood to adulthood. By the way, this understanding is not based on a book or what anyone thinks, but just looking and learning about your own thinking. The second key thing to understand is this wisdom cannot be taught like science or maths. Yes, there's an exchange of ideas involved, but the key is to ask questions and let children come up with the answers themselves. You'll be amazed how this wisdom is already within them, waiting to be awakened. All one needs is curiosity, a mind that's open to learning, and children's minds are really open, and the ability to ask questions like, what's going on in my mind when I feel stressed? Why do two people react differently to the same situation, for example? And lastly, I always tell children not to believe anything I'm saying, but to question it. It's only true if they see it clearly themselves. We have created a manual for teachers. And if you want a free copy of this, please drop me an email, info@humanwisdom.me. Again, to reiterate, this deeper wisdom comes entirely from looking and learning about ourselves and is not based on any ideology, but can be life-changing. Now, here are some voices of children that I have met in my travels. Anxiety is just your imagination playing up. And that's a 10-year-old girl from Leeds. When I asked children from Sunderland, how can you meet people who are different with wisdom? They said, to realize we're the same ice cream, just different flavors. Or this was a 13-year-old girl in a local school in Yarm. I said, how would your life change if you were in charge and you only compared yourself with others when you needed to? And she said, I would be free. And my favorite quote of all, this is after talking to 900 children in a secondary school. As I was wandering around the lunch hall, this boy came up to see me, not this particular boy, of course, but a boy came up to see me and he said, I thought I wasn't intelligent, but now I realize it's about the person that you are. Now, let me take you on a journey and introduce you to some children I've had conversations with, so you can see actually how these wisdom conversations take place. And as I said, it's about just sitting down with children as the same human being as they are. There's no authority involved, and just having an open mind, asking questions, and then exploring them together. So these are 10-year-old children, and they are in a school just in the northeast of England, a very beautiful school, but in a deprived part of the country. This is about 5 minutes long, this video. Can you remember what we talked about last time?
Jealousy. Yeah, jealousy.
Jealousy?
And how you react.
Yes. What did you learn from what we talked about last time?
When we get jealous, we can't really control our emotions.
Yes. And why do you think we do get jealous?
By comparing ourselves.
Yes, with others. Yes. Are we aware that we're comparing ourselves with others?
No. No.
It's automatic, isn't it?
Yeah.
Happens without us thinking, yeah? And we also spoke about how does jealousy, what are the things we get jealous about?
Money. Who has more money?
Who has more money? Yeah.
Oh, like a better body or something.
Better body looking, yeah. Someone, we compare our looks with others. Anything else?
Test marks maybe.
Test marks, yes. We talked about that, didn't we, last time?
Social media.
Social media, TikTok likes. Yeah, we did a whole thing on TikTok, didn't we, last time? That was so cool. And when you're jealous, which you can't help, it just happens automatically, how does it make you feel towards the other person?
Like you don't want to talk to them.
Yeah?
You start to dislike them.
You dislike them.
Get angry.
You get angry. And do you do that even if they're your friends? You can't help it. Can you help being angry with them?
No.
Or not liking them?
Not really.
Not really. Yeah? No, you can't help it. You know? And just as you can't help it, other people can't help it either, can they? You know? So if someone suddenly starts being mean to you, and you don't know why, this could be one reason, couldn't it? Because they're jealous of something which they can't help, you know. Right? And when we do feel bad inside, what are the different ways in which we can deal with that? How do we respond to that? If someone is feeling bad inside, what are the sort of things they'll end up doing?
It could end up to bullying them.
Yeah? Someone could be bullying others if they're feeling bad. Why do people bully others if they're feeling bad?
So they could feel what they feel.
So you want other people to feel what you feel. Yeah? Do you think the bully can help what he's doing or she's doing?
No.
Sorry?
No.
No? Because?
You can't control your feelings.
Speak up, speak up.
Because you can't control your feelings.
You can't control your feelings. Yes. Okay. And then we also talked about how this affects your, what do you think about the subject? Say if you're not so good at maths and someone's better than you, she's better than you at maths, say. How does it make you feel towards her and towards the subject?
You want to stop trying.
You want to stop trying. Yes. So you lose interest.
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. So now we've understood all this, and this is happening because we're comparing all the time. What do you think is the smart way we can respond? What can we do about this?
Try and stop taking your jealousy out on other people.
Right? Yes? How about, is there a way we could not be jealous in the first place? What could we do not to be jealous in the first place?
Be happy with yourself.
Yes. You could be happy with yourself, couldn't you?
And don't compare yourself.
Exactly. What would be the benefits of not comparing ourselves with others?
You won't feel bad and you'll be happy with what you have.
Yeah. What are the other benefits of not comparing yourself with others?
Other people might be better.
Yeah, so you might be happy for them. You could be really happy with yourself, couldn't you? Because at the moment, how many children are really happy with themselves, you think?
Not many.
Not many. So do you think it should be important to learn this in school?
Yeah.
Yeah? Did you learn something from what we talked about last time?
Yeah.
Did you try that?
Yeah.
Did it work? Did you stop?
Just stop comparing yourself.
Did you stop comparing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did it make a difference?
Yeah.
In what way?
Happier.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Were you happier?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. What could we say to someone who's being mean to us, calling, say, me a pea brain, what could I say to that person that's intelligent?
You can ask them, like, are you okay? If they would say no, maybe to make them stop making it to you and other people, you might say why, and let's say somebody didn't play with them.
Yeah, so it could be that if you're really intelligent, you'll realize that they're being mean because they're unhappy.
Yeah, and then
You could find out why they're unhappy.
if you find out, let's say nobody wants to play them, maybe say, should I play with you?
Okay.
And they would probably say yes. They would probably apologise then. It'll probably be off after that.
It'll be over.
If you were talking about your holiday,
Yes.
and you haven't been on that much,
Yes.
you say you've been on 3, I've been like on 1, let's say.
Yeah.
You don't compare yourself,
Yes.
because if you compare, you might get jealous.
Yes. And when you get jealous, how would you respond? How do you react to somebody when you're jealous?
Probably like, if you're getting a bit angry and jealous, you'll probably stop showing off.
Yeah, you'd say stop showing off, or you'd think the other person's showing off, right?
Yeah, when they're just telling you something, you're just making it look like they're showing off.
Yes, because you're feeling bad, because your mind is comparing
Yeah.
and it's feeling jealous, you see?
And if they're jealous, sometimes also it's listening. That's really good for friendship, because if you're telling me about your holiday, I'm probably thinking, oh, why don't I go on holiday and that? And then you'll just be telling me and I wouldn't be listening because I would be thinking about my holiday.
Correct. And more importantly, you might jump in and start talking about your holiday, mightn't you? So I've not even finished telling you about my holiday.
And then I just jump in.
You just jump in. Yeah. Now, when we speak, do we normally think about how the other person's going to receive it? Do we think about how the other person's going to feel?
No, but because you don't really think about it. But you should.
Yes.
Because if I'm angry at somebody and I want to say something mean to them, you always think before you say it.
But do most people normally think before they say?
They just ignore it, like, I'm going to do it.
Yeah, and it just comes out, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So what's the intelligent thing to do?
The intelligent thing is think, would they like this?
Yes.
Or you could think, would I want to be treated this way?
Yes.
If they would like to be treated that way, and if you would, you can say it. If you would and they wouldn't, just don't say it.
Yes.
Also, if you haven't got anything nice to say nothing at all.
Do you think it's possible for us to respond with intelligence, like we were discussing?
Yeah.
Yeah?
It's possible. If all the world done that this world would be brilliant.
It would, wouldn't it?
So perhaps we need to listen to Sarah. And if we can bring this deeper understanding of ourselves and how our minds work to every child in education and help them connect with their own inner wisdom, it could not only help transform their lives, so when they grow up, they can avoid all the challenges like stress and anxiety, mental health, depression, addiction, all the things we've talked about. But it would also give them the soft skills they need to be successful in the world and live with kindness and compassion for others who are different. See, at the moment, our mind meets people who are different with fear. And this fear then creates anger, resistance, all of that. But with this compassion, we meet people who are different with curiosity. And this compassion could help begin to heal so many of the divisions we see in the world. So I hope this brief talk has given you a little window into the possibilities here with children and how we could revolutionize education to not only make it more relevant for children. By the way, we're not saying knowledge is not important at all. We're saying in addition to that, we need to teach wisdom, because that could transform the lives of children and create a better future for humanity.